The hit that took out a school principal. The murder of Busani Como. The tragic murder of Busani Como, the 57-year-old acting principal of Psychothuxalo High School, sent shockwaves through the community of KZN on December 5th. As he left the school grounds, a ruthless assailant ambushed him on Safasonk Road, shooting him in cold blood. The shocking attack took place just as Como had finished his day, marking an abrupt and brutal end to his life. The news of the murder spread quickly, leaving the school's staff, students, and the local community reeling. Como had been highly respected for his dedication to improving the school's standards, and his sudden and violent death left many wondering why someone would target such a well-regarded figure. The loss of a principal who had worked tirelessly to improve the matric pass rate hit hard, especially since his efforts were beginning to bear fruit. His death felt senseless, a cruel blow to the school, which had been experiencing a surge in academic performance under his leadership. The shock of the event was compounded by the fear that the community's safety was being threatened by such a violent act. People couldn't understand how someone so committed to education and community could be taken from them so brutally. In the aftermath, Psychothuxalo High School's staff and students were left struggling with grief, disbelief, and the unsettling question of who could have been behind such a ruthless act. Months passed in silence, with few answers emerging about who was responsible for the murder of Busani Como. The school community, still grieving, was desperate for closure. Then on March 11, 2025, a breakthrough came. Police, after conducting a lengthy and thorough investigation, had arrested a 28-year-old man, a suspect in the murder case. This intelligence-driven operation in the Mpumalanga township marked a significant turn in the case. The arrest was a much-needed step toward justice for Como's family and the people of KZN. The school's acting principal, Sifiso Shulu, expressed the feelings of many when he said, "We are very delighted as a school because what we want is justice. So far, I believe we are heading in the right direction." With the arrest of the suspect, the burden of uncertainty seemed to lift slightly, though many questions remained. What motivated such a senseless killing? Why Como? These questions continued to haunt the community as they awaited further developments. The suspect's appearance in court would be the next pivotal moment, as people hoped that the legal process would shed light on the full story behind Como's tragic death. The arrest brought relief, but the investigation was far from over. The community, still in shock, cautiously began to regain a sense of hope that justice would soon prevail. As the investigation into the murder of Busani Como progressed, shocking new details began to emerge about the crime. The police, committed to bringing justice, conducted a meticulous investigation. The breakthrough came when they located and seized a pair of trousers that the suspect had allegedly worn during the murder. These items were critical in linking him to the crime. Further evidence revealed that the murder was not as random as initially believed, and detectives began to uncover deeper layers to the case. The suspect was arrested and charged with Como's murder, and as the legal proceedings unfolded, it became evident that this crime was the result of something more complex than a simple robbery gone wrong. The police spokesperson confirmed that the investigation was ongoing and that additional arrests could be expected. This statement fueled speculation in the community, and everyone began wondering whether more people were involved in the crime. The arrest of the suspect was an important step, but the mystery surrounding the motive deepened. What could drive a person to kill someone who had been so dedicated to his community and his work? As more evidence was collected, it became clear that the case was far from ordinary, with the investigation pointing to possible motives that could change the entire narrative. When the suspect first appeared in court on March 12, 2025, it was a moment that captivated the attention of the entire community. The proceedings were closely followed, with many hoping that the court would finally reveal the full truth behind Como's murder. During the hearing, the accused dropped his initial request for bail, signaling that he understood the gravity of the charges against him. The court appearance was a crucial moment in the case, as the accused faced serious charges that carried heavy consequences. It was a tense moment for everyone involved, especially for Como's family, who were eager to see justice done. The police had uncovered crucial evidence, and it seemed that the case was heading in the right direction. However, despite the mounting evidence, the suspect denied any involvement, and his defense remained vague. As the court proceedings continued, there were still many questions left unanswered. The public and Como's family were left on edge, anxiously awaiting the next court date, which would hopefully bring more clarity. Police also assured the public that further investigations were underway, hinting at the possibility of additional arrests in connection with the crime. As the trial progressed, the community remained hopeful that the truth would soon come to light, even as the investigation took more unexpected turns. Amidst the grief and confusion surrounding his death, Busani Como's legacy continued to shine through the achievements of Psychothuxalo High School. Como had worked relentlessly to improve the school's performance, and his efforts were finally starting to pay off. Under his leadership, the school's matric pass rate had jumped from 61.9% to an impressive 94.5%. This remarkable achievement was a testament to his hard work and dedication, and it brought a sense of pride to the school. Teachers and students alike felt that the results were a direct reflection of Como's passion for education and his ability to inspire those around him. Acting Principal Sifiso Shulu made it clear that, despite the pain of losing their leader, the school had something positive to celebrate. "This is our late acting principal's effort and hard work," he said. He saw this coming and was certain about these results. "He is definitely smiling. May his soul rest in peace." These words, though filled with sorrow, also reflected a sense of pride and determination to carry on Como's work. The educators and students continued to mourn, but they did so with the understanding that Como's influence would continue to guide them. They hoped that their academic success would serve as a fitting tribute to his memory. The death of Busani Como affected far more than just Sikathuxalo High School. The entire community of KwaZulu-Natal was shaken by the brutal murder. News of the crime spread quickly, and residents of the town were left in shock, struggling to make sense of the senseless act. People began to question the safety of their own neighborhoods, and many wondered whether the violence had been an isolated incident or part of a wider trend of crime in the area. The murder cast a dark shadow over the community, and the unsettling feeling of vulnerability lingered long after the news broke. The tragedy also highlighted the need for stronger security measures in the area, and local leaders began to call for more resources to address the growing concerns over safety. As the investigation into Como's death continued, the community rallied around his family and the school, offering support and condolences. They hoped that justice would bring closure, but even with the police making progress, the question of why Como was targeted remained unanswered. As time went on, the fear and confusion began to give way to a renewed sense of unity, with the people of KZN coming together to honor Como's memory and ensure that his legacy would not be overshadowed by tragedy. As the investigation into Busani Como's murder continued, many questions remained unanswered. Despite the arrest of the primary suspect, the police were still working to uncover the full story behind the crime. What had led a 28-year-old man to take the life of a beloved educator? Was there a personal motive behind the murder, or was it something else entirely? These questions gnawed at the community, which remained eager for clarity. Each new court date brought hope that the truth would finally be revealed, but the details of the crime remained shrouded in mystery. The police assured the public that they were following all leads, and the case was still open, but it was clear that there was much more to the story than met the eye. Como's family continued to grieve, but they also clung to the hope that the investigation would eventually answer the questions that had plagued them since the day he was killed. The case had become a symbol of the community's fight for justice, and everyone involved hoped that the full truth would eventually come to light. As the final court hearing approached, the tension in the community was palpable. After months of legal proceedings, the time had come for the trial to reach its conclusion. Busani Como's family, the staff at Sikathuxalo High School, and the community at large anxiously awaited the outcome. The suspect had been in custody for several weeks, and many were hopeful that the truth would finally emerge. The police had gathered substantial evidence, but the defense had argued that the evidence was circumstantial. As the court proceedings unfolded, the public watched closely, hoping that the legal process would bring the closure they so desperately needed. Como's family, though grieving, hoped that the trial would be a step toward healing. They knew that justice could not bring back their loved one, but it could provide them with the peace of knowing that the person responsible for his death would be held accountable. The entire community stood united in anticipation, hoping that the trial would bring them closer to the answers they had been seeking since that fateful day. The day of the final court ruling was one that would be remembered by all who had followed the case. The court had deliberated for what seemed like an eternity, and the verdict was finally delivered. The suspect was found guilty of the murder of Busani Como, and the community erupted in both relief and sadness. While the conviction provided a sense of justice, it did little to ease the pain of losing someone who had made such a significant impact on the school and the community. The ruling marked the end of a long and painful journey for Como's family, but it also served as a reminder of the importance of seeking justice, no matter how long it takes. The community of KZN had stood together in the face of tragedy, and they had seen justice served. Though the loss was profound, Como's legacy would continue to inspire future generations of students and educators. In the wake of the trial and the conviction of Como's killer, school began to heal. The educators and students, though still grieving, found strength in their resilience. They celebrated the life and achievements of their late principal by continuing the work he had started. The school's academic performance continued to rise, and Como's legacy was honored in every student's success. Despite the tragic circumstances that had brought the school into the national spotlight, the community chose to move forward with pride. They had faced unimaginable loss, but they had also shown the world the power of unity and the importance of perseverance. As the years went by, the memory of Busani Como remained a guiding force at the school, reminding everyone that, even in the face of tragedy, there is always a way forward.